am in a very good mood today since we just had a public holiday, and today I am bringing the Tuo Cha tea from Mishinshan Tea House. It is one kind of pu'er tea, but it's very earthy, and I just like it because of the fragrance. There's a little bit of glutinous rice kind of smell. So yes, it is a great day because it was a short week, and then there's one day public holiday, and then now we just have another 2 days before the weekend. So today I'm gonna cover a topic that is very close to my heart recently due to my interaction with a few prospective clients as well as a few clients, and that is the 3 steps of effective delegation. 3 steps of effective delegation. Why am I choosing to cover this topic today? Well, recently I have encountered a lot of clients and clients-to-be who seem to struggle quite a bit with this delegation, and they will keep coming up with reasons why they don't really need to delegate. But unfortunately, delegation, if you think about it, if you really want to grow the business, is an inevitable thing. Imagine a captain of the ship that is constantly busy with scrubbing the deck, manning the wheel, manning the sail, and trying to, encourage the crew. And when they have to do all this, and then patch a hole, fight fire. Imagine a captain that is so busy doing all that. What do you think will happen to the boat? And fortunately or unfortunately, the business owners in Singapore especially are extremely capable. They are very, very competent. However, because they are so smart and competent, sometimes delegation is a nightmare. They just can't let go. They just feel, no Fel, it is faster if I do it myself. No Fel, why would I want to waste time teaching someone when the result of their work will be inferior to mine? Does this sound familiar? If it sounds like you, I think you need some help. So today I'm going to take you through the 3 steps of effective delegation so that it does not look so scary. And yes, I acknowledge delegation is not an overnight thing. It's not like, today I shall choose to delegate to my people and everything will be perfect. No, it doesn't really work that way. That's why there are steps. I would say that the steps can be grouped into 3 stages. One is you have to hire well, and then you have to train them well, then you can delegate very well. So let's start with part 1, which is about hiring well. So what are some of the tips that I will cover? Evolves around number 1. What is your checklist for this hire? It's just like finding a life partner. It is always good to have your ideal candidate checklist. And there are some that are related to skill set, but to me, skill set is not the most important thing. I want to also see their coachability or teachability or whatever you use to describe that. But how quick do they learn? And I will, number 1, want to hire for a culture fit. Like, I'm always open to the culture where they are continuously having this desire to improve themselves, to want to learn. They are very open to feedback. So I will assess the candidates that are incoming based on a few of these factors. So number 1, hire for culture fit, not just skill set. Number 2, assess them during the interview process. No matter how many rounds you have, make sure that you do a little bit of assessment to ensure they have the minimum viable skill set at least. So I'm not saying that we don't look at skill set at all. We want to benchmark a little bit. What is the minimum expectation? But you have to have some kind of proof of these skills that they really have it. I've seen a company where they hire purely based on resume, and as a result, they spend a lot of time having probation for 3 months, and then the guy doesn't really live up to their expectations. Then they have to let go and find another guy, and it takes a long, painful cycle of really finding the right one. Sounds familiar? So yes, number 1, like I mentioned, is you want to make sure that you hire for culture fit, not just purely skill set. Number 2, you want to assess them for minimum viable skill set, that it really exists and they really have the competence. And number 3, you want to set the expectations on what are their KPIs, what is expected of them, so that when they come in, they really know, hey, I'm confident, yes, I can deliver this. So the clarity of what they need to do and what a good performance looks like is also very important at the hiring stage. So that's why I always suggest that, hey, have your probation, your first 3 months, and if let's say after the first month it doesn't seem to work out, quickly intervene, have some feedback conversation, see whether the guy still can be coached and improved. If they can't, I wouldn't drag out just for the sake of fulfilling probation. Because sometimes it's causing you harm and it's causing the guy harm. Like he will dwindle, his confidence will dwindle, and eventually he will leave the whole thing feeling lousier about himself too, right? So again, like I say, assess for these few things. There's a principle that is called slow to hire, fast to fire. Now, I'm not saying that you have to fire people blindly, please, no. However, it is, if let's say a relationship is really not working well and there's a team member that is causing pain to the whole company, I would be firm enough and be able to say, hey, you know what, maybe it's just not a good fit at this point. Wish you all the best, but we have to say goodbye at this point. Yeah. Anyway, morbid topic. Let's go back to the fact that you need to hire well, assess them for culture fit. You want to give a bit of competency assessment in your interview process to assess for minimum viable skill set. And then the third thing is set the expectations of what a good KPI looks like, what a good performance looks like. Set the clear expectation of what is expected of them. And so once you have hired this candidate and you're happy about your hire, then it is time to make sure that they really can perform up to your expectation so that you can delegate in peace. So that is the stage of training and coaching them. So in this training and coaching, the first thing that you want to do is to really have what we call a performance contract. So really define very clearly on what is expected of them, not just on the task that they need to do, but also how they do it, meaning how do they behave in a team, how do they work in a team. So a lot of the time people just say you have to do task A, task B, task C, but they don't say how they should do it. For me, I always make sure that there's that setting of expectation. Hey, in this company we do things this way. Either you follow and everyone's happy and you will be happy too. But we want to make sure that there's that consistency right across the board, that people will really know, okay, I have to perform this task and I have to do it this way. And obviously coming up with a training program, a structured training program is going to be key to this. And the training program that is structured so that they can hit what is expected of them. Yeah, so number one, making sure that the tasks are clearly defined and not just what to do, but also how they are supposed to do it. And number two, to have really a structured training program so that people can generally perform well, and to conduct this continuous learning activity or training regularly. When you have regular training, making sure that people upgrade their skill set, then people will be more inclined to stay. They'll be more inclined to say, hey, I'm learning a lot from this company, I should be a good employee and I should really stay in the long run. Now, the other thing that I want to take note is make sure that you empower them for their different job functions as they progress. So as you can see, some people come in as junior staff. So as a junior staff, maybe you just need to give them certain skill sets where they can perform their job well. But as they progress to maybe a leadership role, then it's a different kind of skill set. It's no longer focused on the technical part. Yes, the technical front has to be good, but if they come from that company, they should know. But they need to be now empowered with leadership skills, management skills, coaching skills. So what are the skills that are required for them to perform well at the different level? That is also something you want to incorporate in your training program and structure. Now that you have come up with a structured training program, you have a regular schedule of what are the things that need to be done. Now it's time for you to really delegate well. Of course, in effective delegation, number one, you have to start delegating. No, I'm serious. You have to start delegating. A lot of people, like I say, is finding it so difficult to let go, and they really just want to hang on, and eventually they don't really delegate enough to the point where the team member feel they do not learn, and eventually they get bored and they leave to the next company. And again, you will spend time, energy and money to find the next hire. That's not a good thing, really. So number one, you have to start delegating. Be clear in your responsibilities. So sometimes as a business owner, as a leader in the company, you have like 10,001 responsibilities. Which ones are the ones that you're going to delegate to this particular team member? Step 2, allow them time to get better. Expect that they will not get it perfect the first time, but be careful what you do about it. Imagine if they try for the first time and you find, oh, it's not perfect, and you take the task back. They will never be confident and they will never get better, because now they're in this mode. It's like when you're learning how to drive and you have a very fierce driving instructor. They will pinpoint every single mistake that you do. The more he pinpoints the mistakes, the more mistakes you will make. So it's a similar kind of concept, but make sure when they are doing things right, point it out to them so that they know what did they do right, and then they can have more of those too. So so start delegating, step 1. Step 2 is to make sure that you allow them to get better at it. And number 3 is to have regular feedback conversations, right? Feedback conversations, they are acted upon. What do I mean by that? So sometimes people like to conduct appraisals. Some companies don't even do any kind of appraisals. And even when they do the appraisals or the feedback conversation, it's very focused at, hey, last time you do it this way, that's wrong. This one you cannot do like that. This is called micromanaging, and guess what? It is one of the top cause for people leaving your company for no good reason, just because the boss is micromanaging. And really, normally this micromanaging topic ties in very well with that inability to effectively delegate. If you are the founder, the CEO, you have more than 10 people in your company and you are still doing the junior person's task, then you have a really serious thing to think about on why are you still hanging on to that, and is that really the best for you and for the whole team? And so have regular feedback conversation with the focus on helping them improve moving forward. How do you get better in the future? These are the things you've done well. These are the things that you need to get better at. How can you get better at it? How can we have some concrete action plan so that you can act upon it and you get better over time, to the point where they can produce the level that you find is acceptable, and you can at least be at peace when you delegate certain tasks to these team members. So again, just to have a quick recap, hire well, train well, delegate well. Under the hiring, make sure that you hire for a culture fit. Make sure you have a competency assessment to assess for minimum viable skills. Make sure that there are clear expectations, set the KPIs so that they understand what is expected of them. Once they are on board, again, clearly define what are the tasks they need to do, and not just the what to do, but also how they are supposed to do it. Have a structured training program, and have a regular, like frequency, how often you want to make sure they continuously improve. Then once you start delegating, once you're at the level where you can start delegating, make sure that you do start delegating. Make sure you allow them time to get better in what they do, and have those regular feedback conversation to point them out what they are doing well, so that they can amplify those and what they can do better in the future. And with that, tada, 3 steps to effective delegation, you will find your life as a business owner is going to be much, much, much better. And suddenly your business is going to support your personal goals, and you're not going to be sacrificing your life. Even when you're having dinner with your family, you're always on the phone, just because you can't let go of things that are happening in the business 24/7. So with that, I hope that was useful. If you find that you have issue delegating, if you are in denial whether you have problem delegating, this is one of my forte. I'm very nice about helping you do it. But please give me a call, drop me a message, and we'll talk. See you, people!